Since 1920, we've seen some of the most amazing NFL players make it big. From gunslingers to accurate passers, the NFL has it all. But choosing the best out of these players is always going to be a struggle, because to determine the greatest NFL player, you gotta look at the accolades, the stats, and even the era that they were a part of. So, in this video, we're going to talk about the players who are considered the greatest of all time. First up, we got Reggie White, the Minister of Defense. Reggie White was an amazing player, but along with that, he knew how to appreciate and accept it all while cheering for others. He's known for his amazing defensive skills and had one of the greatest careers in the division. White played for teams like Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers throughout his NFL career, and over the years, as an NFL player, Reggie White played a total of 124 games, and these games only amassed his already incredible stats. He's one of the few NFL players to produce a double-digit sack season 12 times. He was also the first ever player to record 3 sacks in just one game. And as of 2022, this Super Bowl record is only tied for 3 players apart from White. And there's more too. In 1987, Reggie played his greatest season as a defensive player. And it won't be wrong to say that no one was able to play as good as he was until right now. What was so unique about the 1987 season, you might be asking? Well, that year, the league was only playing 12 games. And even in that, White somehow achieved 21 sacks and a defensive touchdown and 4 forced fumbles. As a football player, Reggie had bagged 13 Pro Bowl selections, 2 NFL Defensive Player of the Year, Pro Football Hall of Fame All 1980s and All 1990s team, NFL 100 All-Time Team, the 2 All-Time Career Sack Leader Awards. All of them. Next, Dick Butkus, the Maestro of Mayhem. Butkus had more nicknames than any other NFL player. We assume, anyways. And all these nicknames fit well with what he did while playing football. Former NFL linebacker was a really mean bear, and it would have been unfair if we hadn't added them to the list. From 1965 to 1973, Butkus played as the middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears and was known as the most hard-hitting and ferocious player of his time. This was also the time when he got the nickname the Maestro of Mayhem, and needless to say, the opponents were genuinely scared of coming face-to-face with Butkus during a game. Apparently, he used to intimidate opponents by growling at them, along with the garnishing of curse words and how he'd destroy them. This is the real reason why many thought that he was just good at intimidating people. However, that wasn't the case. Butkus was much more than just an intimidator. In his 9 years in the NFL, Butkus' stats were more like this: 49 forced turnovers, 27 fumble recoveries, and 22 interceptions. At the time of his retirement in 1970, Butkus was also the only one to hold on to the most forced fumbles in the history of NFL. And not just that, the linebacker king was so good at what he did that even today, the Best Linebacker Award is named after him. It's called the Dick Butkus Award. And then we have Aaron Donald. You might be wondering why there's no nickname for a player as good as him. Well, we have this to say. Aaron's real name is enough to strike fear in the hearts of opponents, and at the end of the day, this new generation is only going to know him as the GOAT of the NFL anyways. Aaron is a relatively new player as compared to the other NFL players that we've mentioned in the video. The interesting thing about him is that he hasn't even been on the field for 10 years yet, and he's still considered one of the greatest of all time. 8 years in the league, and he has never once missed a Pro Bowl. And not just that, he's been an All-Pro selection for like all these years minus his rookie year, meaning that this guy holds 7 All-Pro selections. But wait, there's more! He's also been nominated for a first ballot Hall of Fame, and that's a crazy accolade for somebody who only joined the league in 2014. And if you talk about his defensive play, he's one of the best and most dominant defensive players, and he also holds the most Defensive Player of the Year awards. In his short NFL career, Donald has already achieved a lot more than anybody with his level of experience would do. And time is going to tell just how good he's going to get in the future. Up next, Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor entered the league with a big transformation that was in the process. He played as an outside linebacker for the New York Giants throughout his career. Taylor started his career as an NFL player during the 80s and is still regarded as one of the greatest defensive players ever. It wouldn't be wrong to credit Taylor for being that one player who changed football's offensive and multiple position schemes forever. During his time, the teams would allow running backs to block the outside linebacker. However, Taylor was never an easy target, and he proved that he was able to overpower any running backs that would come his way. This wasn't something small, and later Taylor's action became the reason why the left tackle is the second highest paid position today. Not only was he strong, but his speed was otherworldly. Because of this, the opposing teams had to plan new running strategies because Taylor would just always get behind the line. According to Coach Bill Parcells, Taylor would even rush where he wasn't supposed to. This caused him to get in trouble at times as well, but his playing strategies changed the way that the NFL was played. Thanks to his outstanding skills, Taylor still holds the position of being the best defensive player ever. From 1981 NFL Droid to Hall of Fame 1999, he's bagged several accolades. Next on the list is Jerry Rice. Rice was all about hard work, and he knew that he was doing that. In an interview, he said, "I don't think I'm a natural. I think what I'm doing is just very hard work." His hard work got him the title of being the single greatest wide receiver in the history of the NFL. And not just that, Rice received all of the major receiving records throughout his career, and only one player has been able to beat him until now. Looking at his stats, we can say that this guy really had some superpowers because... just look at him. Wow. I mean, he stands second in receiving category with over 5,000 yards, over 100 receptions, and 40 receiving touchdowns. Some fans argue that he's only amassed all these stats because of his long career, 20 seasons as an NFL player. That's just not entirely true. He was always a dominant player, and in his 40s, he had around 12,000 receiving yards as well as 7 touchdowns. And not just that, Rice was arguably one of the most dangerous open field and after the catch receivers. Even today, players are trying to learn his techniques of taking shorter routes and managing to reach longer distances for touchdowns. Honestly, it'd be hard for the NFL to get a player like Rice again, because it's just who he was. It was too unique. It was truly amazing. Now we've got Tom Brady. Tom Terrific. And here it comes, Tom Brady, the one who has the greatest NFL stories to tell. He started his career as a pale, chubby, pathetic-looking quarterback, but who knew this chubby guy would turn out to be one of the selected ones for the 6th round and 199th overall by the New England Patriots. He played 20 seasons and claimed several all-time records. Not just that, he also holds the record of winning the highest number of Super Bowls, and no one has been able to beat him to date. In fact, he's won more Super Bowls than any franchise. Even in his 40s, he's proved to be the fiercest competitor that anybody could ever come across. There's a lot more to tell about him, but Brady's also the one to hold the most touchdowns and passing yards in the history of the NFL. It seems like he's the only NFL player who's won almost every single award that there is to win in the NFL. Not just that, he's even made a comeback and led a team at the age of 43. Now, why is that surprising? Well, not only did it make him win the Super Bowl, it's worth noting that this whole team followed a completely new setup, and Brady was literally alien to all of this, and yet still, he managed to handle it all and made them win. Throughout his career, Brady's been attacked by antis, and it was also a part of several controversies. But we'd say that the guy's a football genius, and it'll take some extraordinary talent for somebody to break the records that he's set in the world of football. It seriously looks like no one's getting close to them anytime soon. The NFL is home to so many talented and extraordinary players. However, out of those tens of amazing players, very few of them have actually proven to have God-gifted skills and techniques. We might have forgotten to add some greats to the list, but we all know the names of them, so it's not totally necessary to mention each and every one of them. But we'll be back with more videos very soon, so don't worry. And until then, keep supporting us by liking our videos and subscribing to our channel.